How do you start the training with them?
I'm from a village of Sonipat, Haryana. I was very active in my Kushti competitions. I usually keep sharing my commentary, posting the programs.
Many practices still think that word of mouth is enough and they don't need marketing. What do you say to those practice owners?
I'm totally not agree with the statement because marketing, branding is very important thing.
How does a doctor become a KOL?
To become a KOL in a particular domain, you have to be very specific in terms of knowledge.
So, what prompted you to go into the marketing after doing dentistry?
My journey into this particular type of growth was very natural.
Welcome to the Dental Lens podcast, where we explore the ideas, innovations, and leaders shaping the future of healthcare and dental industry. I'm your host, Dr. Syed Adrib Zaidi, and today I'm delighted to welcome someone who has spent decades at the intersection of healthcare, innovation, commercial strategy, and emerging technologies. Our guest, Dr. Vijay Viraj, has built and led high performing commercial organizations across healthcare, medtech, and AI. Throughout his career, he has helped scale businesses generating over $15 million of revenue and driven enterprise and integrated delivery network expansion. So, welcome, Dr. Vijay, and we are very glad to have you on the podcast.
Thank you, Dr. Andalib, and it's really a warm welcome. So you share a lot of things about me, and I guess that was a small thing I already achieved in life. I'm still learning and doing my best.
Thank you, Dr. Vijay. So you're heading your Unicorn Denmark now, head of marketing, but you started your career way back in 2012. So what prompted you to go into the marketing after doing dentistry?
I guess my journey into this particular type of growth was very natural, and I started as a dentist in 2011 after passing from my GDC Arota College. Then I understood the clinical side very well. I was really good in practice. I also practiced in Safdarjung Hospital as a trauma center. Then I moved into hospital roles, some hospital operations and health insurance sectors. Then finally to my favorite current domain, that is healthcare sales, training, marketing, medical devices, dental equipment, digital platforms, and recently after introducing the AI. So these all ecosystem I learned in the last almost 15 years. So over the time, I realized one thing very clear in healthcare: a good product done is not alone. A good product alone is not good. You required right positioning, right customer segmentation, right sales process, then right team, and right follow up, right trust building mechanisms. So that is where my interest in growth become very strong. And earlier, growth was mostly dependent on the field sales, referrals, exhibitions, events, maybe dealer network, and somehow the doctor relationship also. But then digital industry evolved very fast, and I think it's changed a lot of things. So currently, doctors started uh, researching online, and they have more information than any person visit the dental clinic as a salesperson. So street patients started checking the Google reviews. They visit to clinic after checking website, maybe after checking the Instagram social media pages. So the decision making become now more informed at the level of both doctor and at the level of both patient. So recently, in the last 5 years, when AI come to the market and everybody start exploring it, so I think it AI gives us speed, AI gives us structure, AI gives us the power of scale. So that's how I use this all 15 years in my journey to start from a dental practitioner to now helping other dental practitioner to scale their practice, helping other dental companies and other medical equipment companies how to choose the right product, how to enter into the market, what are the key growth strategies. So that's how a small journey I carrying for the last 15 years.
That is incredible, doctor, and especially choosing marketing way before it was a trend. Now these days we every time see choose a non-clinical career after BDS, but you have done it 15 years before. So I think it was a trailblazer thing at that time also.
Right.
Yeah. So you said that you are helping practices doing marketing as well. So how do you think marketing changed from for a dental practice, like in the AI-driven area? How is it helping the dentist to practice
Hmm.
marketing?
So if I see in terms of dentistry towards the patient. because AI now is entered into almost every type of operations, either it is in clinical business or in other business. So if suppose I'm doing a practice in my scenario, if I'm a dentist, so AI help me at least not in the proper diagnosis, because a lot of AI tools in the market, they claim we diagnose better. Somehow, in some cases, they diagnose, but still the final judgment and the analysis still depend on the doctor. So, in my thought process in dentistry, AI can help you to create the patient educational content, because you can use content writing through Gemini or through ChatGPT or the similar content writing tools. Then you can write down the patient follow-up messages, maybe the reminder message, maybe the appointment message, your website content, your social media content, calendar, and you can also still use AI to generate good stock videos to educate your patient, or to generate some good images that can be helpful in terms of promotion and branding of your clinic. So this is the one domain of AI that really helping dentist in either in initial practice to set up the social or to the digital assets about the practice and their own personal branding. Second, AI now is also helping in terms of diagnosis in radiology. So there are some decent tools and some good companies. They are working globally. Maybe the Pearl is there, or some other AI companies that have radiographic analysis for the RVG imaging, and for the OPG imaging also, as well as 3D CBCT imaging. So Diagnocat is a company that is in 3D images analysis. That is really a really amazing tool they have developed in the last almost 5 to 7 years. So they have really done a great job. So these particular AI in dentistry can be helpful in terms of patient education, your personal branding, your diagnosis. Now further comes more deep. So if now AI has also developed your personal digital avatar, maybe you can say if you are not in the clinic, but somebody want a consultation with you, you can create your AI brain into that particular chatbot. You can put your skill, you can put your thought process, you can put your knowledge, you can put other knowledges that is relevant to your industry, or it becomes your digital twin. So it can be attached to your website, and it can be attached to your mobile app for your clinic. So doctor, if any patient come to you who want to connect you, but you are busy in practice, maybe you are not available after 8 p.m., or you're not available before 10 a.m. So during that duration, that chatbot can help you to become as a digital twin. Doctor can Patient can consult with you as a digital avatar. He can share his problem, he can share his issues now, and you can give the feedback after getting the information. And next day you will get the summary ki this patient connected to you in your absence. Now if it required the visit or call to the clinic, then your receptionist can call the patient to come to the clinic. So that is one another angle for the AI enablement in the dental practice. Furthermore, if you go more, now AI has also entered in practice management.
Yes.
So when you take the patient history and you put the data into the system, then data is analyzed by the AI. Now the AI is checking according to the patient history, according to the frequency of visit, and according to the dental conditions you put into the system. Now we can predict कि after 6 or 7 months it requires another visit, or after 1 year the possibilities of maybe any tooth problem, maybe any cavity progression, maybe any periodontal problem, expansion, exploration. So anything, if it is predictable, then he can give you the reminder, or it can initiate the auto message to the patient also कि you required follow dental visit. So at least your receptionist or your staff is not missing the follow-up patients, because patient retention is very important than the patient acquisition demand lot of efforts, but retention, if the patient is retaining to your clinic, he can bring more patient because of the credibility, reliability, and your treatment quality. So that's how this one of the ecosystem AI is helping in dental practice.
So, are there any current softwares which are developed in India who is providing this service for the recall?
There are a few doctors. from Manipal, some from MMC, other colleges. So they are trying to put LLM model. So
Mm,
exactly this type of AI tools.
mm,
Recently, I also checked Epidoc.ai, that is developed by Green Park Dental in Delhi, one of the very prestigious clinic in Delhi NCR.
mm,
So some doctors they are coming with their clinical excellence, and some other team collaborating with the doctors, because this require two-person, well, two mindset. One is at the level of engineering that can understand the LLM models and then can train the models with the knowledge base, and that knowledge base comes from the clinical doctor. So the clinical doctor they come to the picture by sharing the very variable type of prognosis, diagnosis, and they are sharing their clinical wisdom, how, how they diagnose the problem, what are the key parameters to highlight in AI segmentation or in AI patient consultation, what type of consultation should given to the patient, should not given to the patient. If patient asks such questions, where the chatbot should stop. So these all type of scenarios they are tested by the doctors, and few companies in the market they are coming in. I'm not able to remember everyone, but if you go to the Google, AI Dent one is there, Muskan.ai is one is there.
mm.
So that were the companies when I was studying during about the AI evolution the last couple of years.
Yes. And I have read about Muskan AI, and it is claiming that they can detect cancer only by taking a photograph of the oral mucosa. I think if it is really true, then it is going to be beneficial a lot for the patients, and especially in the rural areas where doctors can set up satellite clinics and have
Hmm.
patients into the AI sector, like having the images taken and all. There's also a company called Scan-O, which is
Yes,
doing
can.
they are taking photographs
So
and
they're also doing the pullover Joe and bite, and they have some PDF, colorful PDF about the general condition of the tooth. So these are the basic reports, not for the proper diagnosis, just to give the more assurance to the patient. Because if they have something in their hand as a PDF, so they have in something in their mind, yes, I have some problem. Because when you do blood test, and if you're getting any print report either in the PDF format or the printed report, so you can see the changes in the parameters in the dark or bold color. So you have something thoughts, yes, I have a problem. I should either avoid such thing or should follow the instruction given by the doctor. Similar way, when you get any AI report of your oral health care, so you have something in your brain, yes, this is the issue in my dental condition. I should go to the doctor. So currently, some of the RVGs like we have Expect Vision RVG, so this is very amazing RVG. It is world first photon counting technology and also the AI integrated. So whenever any doctor take the images of any tooth, it automatically gives the very sharp images, and with a single button, it gives the complete AI analysis of the particular tooth. Where is the cavity? What is the cavity depth? Or any periodontal condition is there? Any tooth missing is there? So now the equipment is also getting some AI enablement to more efficiently help doctor to perform better in the patient out care and patient care.
I'm really, hopeful and optimistic about the AI future in healthcare. I'm also developing have developed voice AI and AI front desk receptionist.
Right.
Uh, yeah, but I think the awareness in the patients should also increase. Like in West, it is very common for patient to talk with an AI and all, but I think in India, the awareness and the acceptance of AI is lacking, especially in the voice AI segment.
Currently, Dr. Antilip, voice AI agents are working in mass population. Maybe just
Yes.
to share you some information, like if you see the major companies, maybe in the banking sector or similar other services sector, maybe Muthoot Finance or similar other banking services. So they are using to just either share the information about any product or maybe any follow-up calls, maybe the reminder calls. So that is almost the one-way communication. They just need to give the information at the right time, but the cross communication when we started, the patient or maybe the AI get confused, because in India there are variety of sound, variety of accent. So when any person communicate with AI bot, if it is not matching with the accent or with the language, so it start getting repeat and repeat the same thing. So the patient or customer start thinking it is not the real human.
Yeah. I think the best way to start with AI communication is through chatbot, and having a WhatsApp automated appointments, because uh, SBI is completely on WhatsApp. They're providing WhatsApp banking, complete banks, HDFC, SBI. So I think as a dental clinic, we can provide that WhatsApp automated appointments, rescheduling or
Mm.
the recall through WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is the biggest social media in our country and almost everyone uses it, be it of any category and class. Like, so I think we can start with the typing thing because they are getting used to asking questions to the chat GPT and all. So
Mhm.
the penetration AI communication can start with the chatbots and WhatsApp, and then again, slowly go to the voice AI systems as well.
Right.
But I think even in dentists, like very few dentists who are practicing at a high level, they are thinking about AI-driven marketing and all. But the practices, like there are at least 70% practices who think that they still don't need marketing. What do you say to them?
Yes, I missed your last question. What is AI marketing
And
after that?
many practices still think that word of mouth is enough and they don't need marketing. So, what do you say to those practice owners?
Oh, I'm totally not agree with the statement because marketing, branding is very, very, very important thing. Whether you are a very great, if you have very great clinical skill, but if you are not getting patient or maybe you are not known among the society, so it doesn't matter if you have very great clinical skill, but you are not getting the patient. So the branding and marketing is not only helping you to get the right patients or to get the more patient, it has many other aspects also. So suppose for a dental practitioner, I call it branding and marketing as a GTM strategy. Go to the market. So it is
Mm.
very simple term. So it means how will the right patient find you, trust you, contact you, visit you, accept your treatment, and come back again. So that is overall funnel or ecosystem to go to the market division. So it is not only for the big companies because in the company we use it as a customer to visit or to reach us. But for every clinic, it is by default every clinic has a GTM role, whether they know it or they know. So it is maybe hidden or maybe in the conscious mind. For example, if a dentist want to known for implants, he is very good in implant surgery, or maybe if any dentists want to know about the is very good in aligners, maybe good in cosmetic dentistry, maybe very good in smile dentistry or family dentistry. So clinic must have very simple questions at the level of patient understanding. So who is my ideal customer for my particular specialization, and what problem do I want to known for? Because some don't, dentists are very, very extremely fine in laser surgery. Some are very fine in referral cases for root canal, missed canal, or root any file breakage cases, referral cases for the complicated root canal cases. So somehow patient, how the patient will discover me, and how the patient will trust me, and how I will follow up or the patient will follow up. What happens after they make the first inquiry, and how my receptionist is handling the inquiries. What are they explaining? What type of value they are given to the patient, and how do we bring them back to recall. So this is overall a GTM in clinical language because patient have multiple questions before entering to the clinic. So without this, clinic depends on totally luck. So today is very good day. Maybe this month is very good. Some months are very dry. Somehow, so but when this complete GTM strategy is clear, so the growth becomes less random. It's not depend on the luck. It depends on the process. It depends on the system. So a dental clinic should not only have a treatment plan for the patient, it should also have a growth plan for their own clinic or for their own growth. So that's how I think branding and marketing is very, very important for the clinics. And if they think word of mouth is the only key, that is very slow process. Because if you are getting suppose 5 patient in a month, and now the repeat call for a patient is also maybe 6 months or 1 year, it's not the fast moving good. If patient is coming for a problem, maybe next time he will visit after 1 year, 2 year, maybe 5 years, maybe not. And if and he is happy and he required any problem, then he may start sharing the word of mouth publicity to other patients. So from one patient to the next 5 patient, maybe it will take 1 year, 5 years, 6 year. But if you have very good strategy about the GTM, if you know how to go to the market, how to call the patient to the clinic, how to promote your clinic ethically under the norms of NDC, then you have more power to grab more patients. So the Branding and marketing helps you so that patient can reach you, patient can get more awareness about what you are providing, what type of specialties you have, and that's the normal scenario among the patient mind. So that's my opinion ki they should go for proper marketing and branding planning for their clinic practice.
And most of the dental clinics who plan on marketing, they start with ads. But you have let like 50 or 500% lead growth through AI enabled marketing. But for a normal practice, how does it look practical?
Hmm. So in our business model, ROI works differently. So maybe in my case or in my company in Unicorn and Mart, we have achieved very good number of inquiries, 500%, 600%, even with the revenue system. But patient and dentistry works little differently. All the process is almost same. So I must say, suppose if clinic is doing any campaign, they are running any ad, and they have particular ad for a particular type of services. For example, if a doctor is ortho specialist, so he required most of the cases for the aligners or maybe the ortho or maybe the smile correction, putting the braces. So his target audience will be in the range of 15, 16 years to up to the age of maximum 30 years, because this is the common where the people get more attention toward their smile. Maybe they are active on social media, or some friends are teasing them with some other nicknames based on their tooth malalignment. So this is the target audience, so they will run the campaign based on this target audience. Now some other dentist is very good in implant practice, so they will run the campaign focused on their main target audience. From there they will get more revenue. So for those people, they have the target audience in the range of 40, 50 years, because they have the more chances to miss or to extracted tooth. So they are right cases for the implant placement. Or maybe some dentists are doing very good full mouth rehabilitation cases based on all on 4, all on 6 implants. So they require the patient for the age of 50, 60, 70, because they consider full edentulous cases. So each and every specialization has a different type of target audience and personas. So each and every dental clinic have at least 20% procedures that gives them 80% revenue. So if I have 5 chair practice and I have 3 associate dentists and I'm the core dentist and I'm specialized in only implant surgery. So I know a full mouth implant case is approximately equivalent to 10 other cases in terms of revenue, maybe in terms of efforts also. So that's how they should think about the multiplication of factor. So each and every services is not relevant to each other based on the practices. So they should go towards to understand their persona. The right persona is very very important. So without figuring out the ICP profile, ideal customer profile, so if they are running blindly ads, so they are just informing the community ki we have something to do, but they are not inviting the right people that requires the right services for which you are specialized in your community. So that's how they should run the ad. They definitely should run the ad, maybe based on the Google, based on the Meta, but they have to understand the right audience in the right manner. So everybody is not the customer for your services. We have some very basic services that is required the scaling, maybe some required the just prophylaxis, maybe some just required to visit to see whether any problem is happening or not, but they are not the revenue generating resources. So they are very less revenue sharing clinical procedure. So majority of the revenue you will get from your core specialization process. So that may be rehabilitation of the cases, so maybe corrective measurement, any cosmetic dentistry, aligner process, ortho process, implant surgery, or any other similar clinical procedure that gives you maximum of the revenue. So that's how they should think about the running the ads and figuring out the right audience.
And this patient persona should be the first thing they need to figure out before starting any ads. And I believe there should be a foundation of already a bit of organic activity, like before and after
Mm.
post. Because if you run an ad, actually I run a dental marketing company, so that's why I can say that. So when you run an ad, when people come back to your website or your social media, they'll check what is the history behind the dental clinic, like how many cases they have done. And
Mm.
these days, social proof have become so important. Like no, we don't even go to a restaurant without
Right.
checking reviews. So going to dental clinic. So having a lot of video testimonials and before and after photos also help a dentist to get it. The first thing I think they should do is start social media channels, website development.
Right.
Still, there are many dentists who don't even have a website, and
I believe, Dr. Andip, you're picking very right point, because these are trust building content. If
yeah,
you have social media assets, if you have website, the patient can have better idea about you. They can saw your educational video on social media. Then they check your reviews. They understand your treatment approach, the services you mentioned, maybe on website or social media. They saw your clinic environment, how pleasant it is, how the ambience is good for them. They connected with doctor profile. They can read about the doctor profile, maybe the academic qualification or some other content they required. So every patient has a lead, because we think every patient is inquiry or a lead. They behave very differently,
yes,
and the big mistake is that doctors, uh, somehow doctors organically, they create their website, or they listed themselves on Just Dial or similar Practo or other services. So doctors rent visibility from different directories by
yes,
listing their services, but they don't build their own brand memory. So own brand memory requires your content creation directly, that connects you with the patient. So social media and content creation is very important today, because today every patient, they love to see their doctors before entering the clinic. So that's how they become more familiar about your style. They become less nervous when they visit to you, because they have seen you in other videos, they have seen you in some other contents. So content, Google presence, patient education reviews, website follow-up system, they build long-term trust. And I feel a doctor should not only focus on the more leads by running the campaigns. Okay, I will run the campaigns, I will get more inquiry, I will get more leads. So the goal should not be only the more leads. The goal should be the better intent leads, because the customer, when see first time your ad, maybe they just want to check the price of your services, maybe just want to compare you with between their current dental practitioner and you. So that's how these initial inquiries, we call it the cheap inquiries or cheap leads, they become expensive follow-ups, because they come to you just by checking your prices, or by comparing your service to other ex-dentists. So that's how trust building the trust building content is more important initially than running the paid campaigns.
I'm saying like getting a lead is half the battle, but converting them into a patient is a
Yes.
different battle. So, how do dental practice should organize its follow up so that the patient?
Very good, very good. So I think even in our industry, to follow the lead in a proper manner is very important, because initial discussion is based on your engagement, maybe excitement. If patient is coming first time to your clinic, every first customer you will love to discuss more. You elaborate more. Then maybe the receptionist, when they ask, you are visiting first time. Okay, yes, I'm using first time. So they have other type of antenna activated. Yes, this is the first time client. So I have to put more efforts to impress him. I have to put more efforts to educate him, so he will become more influenced based on your approach. So that's how you build a wrong foundation within the patient mind. So if patient coming to your clinic based on your educational content or organic channel, or maybe based on your campaign, if they are coming directly to you. So your first role is to understand the patient intent and their main issues for which they come to your clinic. There is no requirement about spending extra thing, putting extra efforts about what we have done in the past, what we have done so much for such type of practices. Our doctor is 15 years experienced. We have such type of amenities. We have such type of equipments. We have such type of specialization. That is okay to understand, but patient is not there to see you, your ambience, or see, or maybe to see how successful you are in your practice. I have my issue, and I just want first to attend my issue, then after that I can correlate with my experience with whatever you are saying. So first motion is about understanding the patient requirement in terms of his mindset. Do the best clinical procedure whatever required for the patient treatment. After finishing it, then your first follow-up should be on the same day.
Mm.
after just finishing the treatment. So usually the receptionist take the first feedback. How was the experience? Did you get any pain? If everything is good, then they take the first review, maybe on the Google, maybe on the Facebook, maybe on the website, whatever they want. So that is the first phase. Second, when the patient reach home safely, so that it comes, it then the series of automatic messages starts on
After.
WhatsApp. So that is the emotional building, rapid building. It's not like the work is done, now we don't know you, just
Mm.
forget you. So that's how you build the relation after doing the first procedure and patient reach the home. Then you have the series of WhatsApp about the instruction, maybe what not to do, what to do. Maybe the 7 day series ki yes, in the morning your first routine is to just do the mouthwash. Maybe before night you get another message ki I'm sure you have done the mouthwash again to protect your gums. So these are the some small gesture message that patient feel more connected, how careful the doctor is for me, how much think how much doctor think about me, how much doctor is connected with my problem. He's very much connected to I'm following the right process or not. So these 5 7 days follow up should be required to build a very strong foundation. Then after the second visit, suppose if you performed any dental procedure and it requires the second visit after 7 days or 10 days, most of the procedures they require the first follow up. Then coming to the first follow up, then it is he's very excited to share the video testimony. That is the strongest one time small activity of a 7 days with the WhatsApp message. When patient come to the next follow up, he's still happy because he know how much connected you are with the patient. And if you ask him for to share a video testimony, he will really give a very great video testimony. These video testimony base should create the foundation of your next level of mouth publicity, because when other patients see a patient story, success story, then he has more trust on the doctor's capability and skill. If doctor is sharing success story in front of a patient, our doctor has done so much thing, so they are not correlating, but one patient can relate the story of another patient's success. So that's how this type of follow-up system is very strong to create a foundation. So the first video testimony they will get, promote this video testimony on the social media. Doctor is also happy because they are getting the genuine feedback, connect with the patient, collab with the patient. If he's on social media, you will get more patient from this network. So at this stage, the patient will become your advocacy. You will become brand ambassador. You will start promoting your practice. You will start promoting doctors clinic among their network, because they are feeling more connected, more happy. And if the patient is happy, definitely during maybe the lunch, during maybe the dinner or some other normal conversation, they will definitely share the incident. I just visit the clinic, is very great. Yeah, I'm feeling so much relaxed. The doctor is so much connected with me. Every day I'm getting the reminders. They are following me so coolly. I'm very much confident you should go to visit those doctors. So that's how the connection becomes more valuable in terms of getting the more patients. So this type of fellowship is very easy to understand and to follow. Doesn't require any big complex scenario, just 5 7 days. Then after each month, you should keep sharing at least one informative video about the process. You can share the link of the Instagram video, or you can share the other testimony of the patient. So just one message per month to just stay connected with the patient. It should not be the promotional. Promotional message should go once in a 3 month, maybe any relevant service, maybe the scaling you want to offer, maybe any new technology you entered into the clinic, or you want to just give the initial benefit to the patient. So that's how the ecosystem works. Problem to delightment, delightment to connection, connection to promotional offer, then offer to brand advocacy. These are the 5 6 steps I think a dentist should follow in the clinical practice.
Yes, and with AI, they do not even have to have an extra effort. They can set this up completely on AI systems and automations, so that the patients also feels connected, and they do also don't have the admin work.
Right. So that's the initial setup required, because process, the logic you have to understand. AI just just operate the or execute the process, but the logic you have to understand. Being a doctor, it's your skill how to connect with the patient, what type of content you want to deliver in a series.
Yes.
So AI will execute it. AI will help you to refine the words. Maybe AI will help you to make it more emotional, to make it more informative, to make it more touchy. Maybe you will divide the message. This message should go between the age of 15 to 20. These are the Gen Z, Gen Alpha patients. Or these patients should go into the age of middle segment. So that's AI will help you to in segregation or content creation. I already discussed earlier.
Yes.
So execution is very fast with the help of AI, but logical reasoning is of your mind.
And actually, I had written an article about aftercare gap in dentistry, like how and dentistry, like if we have an extraction, the pain stays
Mhm.
3 days. So having these
Right.
constant messages like, "Are you okay?" This is reminders of the patient education material and all. I think it
Nice.
has really important for in this day and age where everything is instant and everything you are reachable to everyone. I think an aftercare strategy is a must for a dentist, to stay relevant in the patients, and as
Right.
you said,
Right.
having patient retention, because you can run ads, get new patients, but if your old patients are not returning, then it will be a revolving door. It is like you are not growing your practice; you are just trying to survive, like by getting new
Also,
patients.
yes, yeah, you already share the retention is very important than acquisition,
Yes.
because your one happy patient can definitely bring many patients. But if you want new patient, you have to put more efforts, more money, and you have to differentiate yourself in terms of the competition in the market. So acquisition is always expensive.
And most dentists don't realize that their front desk is not just for handling calls, but they are a sales team. So how
Right.
should an owner coach them to convert without sounding salesy?
Very good. I think any doctor is world best salesperson, whether they accept or not, because they understand the core problem of the patient. They understand the core mindset of the patient. It is very easy to understand if the patient is here to just cross check your prices or just cross check your services, or he is really genuinely want your services. Same treatment within the same infrastructure, but every doctor is charging different. So they should understand clinic is not just a practice, clinic is a business. So if
Mm.
you think it is a business, it means business has some departments, business has some divisions. One of the division is sales.
Yes.
So the first level of sales happens in the first appointment setting by the receptionist,
Mm.
or maybe the first sales happen when you have digital assets or patient come to your landing page or come to your website. Or you can say the first sales also happen when he see your first video or first content on the social media. So
Mm.
whatever the activity you are doing direct or indirect sales. So that's the first level of connection with the sales division. So now when patient come physically, or when the patient is on the telephone or on the call, maybe your assistant is calling the patient, or maybe the receptionist is calling the patient. So they are another second phase of selling skill.
Mm.
So selling skill required a lot of things. It's very huge department. It requires your human psychology understanding. It also requires your communication skills, voice modulation, the words you choose. It also required which word or which statement you choose in one religion, not to use in another religion. Which statement you should choose while dealing with the young patient, while dealing with the middle aged patient, while dealing with the old age patient. So that's all are the part of selling skill. So it comes either in two ways. Either the doctor will learn it as experiencing learning during the time 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Because when you see any dental or any doctor journey, initially they struggle, but after 5 years or after 10 years, they really good and really successful in the practice. So this is not it comes with time. It comes with the skill upgradation. With every patient, with every discussion, they understand the human psychology. Uh, they understand the tricks, or they understand the strategies they used in patient A versus patient B versus patient C. Their brain, subconscious brain and the conscious brain differently working in the same scenario. So some experiences they are putting in their subconscious brain, is this particular patient, this particular case rejected my offer, but when I change this statement, they accepted my offer. So they do the analysis. Now as a doctor who is the owner, who has already experienced the same thing during the college's days, because they also do patients when they study in the college. They also communicate with the patient. They also communicate with the babus or the clerk people they have in the clinics, because we want to take some material. You have to either communicate with the clerk. You have to sometime you have to use your selling skill to get signed from your mentor, from your professor. Sometimes you use different type of skill to answer your questions. Sometimes you use different skill to handle any aggressive patient. Sometimes you use your other skill to handle very soft or genuine patient, female patient, male patient, child patient. So these are the basic learning they received in the college during their graduation. But when they come to the practice,
Mm.
I personally believe they should at least go some certification courses of patient communication. They should also go some certification courses of communication skills and clinic management skills. So these are the soft skills they require to expand the clinical practice very rapidly. Otherwise, everybody's spending almost 10 years to become a satisfactory practitioner in terms of revenue, in terms of the market acceptability. But you want to shorten the cycle, you should upgrade your skill. Like you upgraded your skill in clinical, you do some courses in laser, then you do some courses in implant, then you do some courses in cosmetic dentistry, you do some courses in HYG clinical procedure. But why don't you do some courses in patient communication? Why don't you do some courses in this learning the new systems, maybe learning the new technologies? So these are also the same core part skills. While you accelerating your skill in clinically, you should accelerating your skill in the business domain. So this system will be created only by the owner when he has the mindset of a mentee. Then only he can become mentor to the team. If he has a mindset of mentoring only, then he can learn the new thing. If learning the new thing, then he can give the same thing to their own team. So if you're getting the knowledge from a higher person, you're
Mm.
delivering the same knowledge to the lower person. Then only the ecosystem work from higher to low. If you're not upgrading your skill, then you can't be a good mentor to the team. You have to become a mentee first, then you can become the mentor for your team. So that should be the right mindset for the clinical practitioner, and he should definitely adopt some type of courses, some certifications requirement that definitely understand clinic is not just a practice, it is a business.
Yes. And that is a beautiful thought, Dr. Vijay. Like, first become a mentee, then become a mentor. Because if you don't know anything, then you cannot pass on to the knowledge to others.
Right.
Yeah. So you have also trained, like, you trained commercial professionals about even the dentists and sales reps about marketing, sales. So how do you start the training with them? Like, and what are the outcomes that comes with the training?
I guess when I was in college in 2006, so I was one of the most active student in my own batch, complete batch. So with a batch of 60 students, and 40 or 41 were the girls, and only 1920s were the boys.
Mm.
And because I am from a village, small village of Sonipat, Haryana, and I was very active in my kushti competitions. I usually keep sharing my commentary, hosting the programs,
Mhm.
and handling the people. Maybe among the ladies, I was the only kid that loudly shared the stories of some mythological scenarios in Hindu rituals. So from that division, I got a confidence of speaking among the people, handling the people, or maybe directing them to do the particular type of task in a particular manner. So that was the foundation in my childhood. And then I came to the college. Then I got a lot of opportunities in Foundation Day, Diwali functions, and different functions. So I was the only boy to managing the respect of complete boys community. Yes, every girls is participating in different culture programs. He's the only boy,
Mm.
so they always look me a single hope. So again, I will get more refinement in my graduation days,
Mm.
to holding the mic, to handling the crowd, a very big crowd, very confidently, without any script, without any shivering. So that base helped me to do the same thing in my corporate life.
Mm.
So I will always believe people have a lot of potential. Maybe they know, they don't know, but as a trainer, as a coach, as a mentor, you should be very well aware how to figure out the process that is customized to fit perfectly well, or maybe the genuinely well within the mindset of the your target person. So my coaching and my training programs I started building in my corporate careers, in this company also, in the previous companies also. So that is based on the two main outcomes: one, the thought process; second, the way of execution. Because first roadblock is your thought process. They have different mindset in terms of accepting, maybe they are not accepting their boss by heart, maybe they are not accepting the company process by heart. They think my observation, my experiential learning is very smart. I don't believe this work in my city. I don't believe this will work in my area. I don't believe this person is good. I don't believe. So they have more don't. So I removed that first don't in their mind. So don't use the negative word, just give me the same statement in other way. Then they start thinking ki this person is working less in comparison to that another person. So removing the don't means they accept this person is working but less, at least working but less. So when they start behaving as this person is working, it means then they start accepting if somebody working is less, it can be trained further to work more. So that I switch the value driven content from rephrasing the statement. So that's how I start building the first phase of training, that is the mindset. Is avoid, no, don't, never. So these are not the right word in the dictionary. Now you can say your statement in another way. So when they start thinking about the same thing to share with another statement, then automatically brain calculating ki yes, this person is not bad, this person required little support, this person required little training, this person required little mentoring, monitoring. So they will definitely improve. So the first part of training is the correct mindset. Now second is how. The first was the why, second is how. So if the why is clear, yes, this person can be improved, this process can be improved, this product can be improved, I can improve my selling skill, and I can improve my product knowledge, I can improve my process, I can improve my time management. So when they come to the mindset of right thing in a positive way, then it required the how. Then give the some framework. So I always keep framework name in a code that is relevant to their business or their domain. Maybe I put some uh, one frame name is doctor. So I divided the doctor doctor in a different uh, headings, so that they can remember the doctor framework for this particular domain. Then I divide. Then I created some practice framework. So I use the word that is very much easy to understand, very much easy to remember. They are using repeatedly every day. So where the same word they are repeatedly using every day, they will keep revising the same word with the same meaning in their brain. So the brain always gets some trigger to activate the previous memory, and the previous memory then come to the front layer. And the memory is fresh, definitely execution become automatic. So that's the power of human psychology. So whatever, these are the things I learned in my own mentorships, when I opted a lot of courses, programs, to develop my skills, how to understand people, how to understand team, how to build the team, how to manage the team, how to create leadership. So these are the core things I developed in me. Then I pass the same thing in a new way, in my own way, in my own approach, in my own understanding. This can be done this way for this particular group of people, because pan India we have different teams. One from north is different mindset, south is different mindset, east is different mindset, west is different mindset. So every team with a different concept, with a different sales methodologies, sales belief, different type of doctors varieties. So we have to just use first mindset, second execution style. One execution style is not fitting well to the another territory. Suppose Bihar and Jharkhand, they have different type of doctors, they have different type of communication, they are not technically very sound, they are driven by good relationship, good service support system, and only one or two key problem their product is solving for them. So they are not able to remember 15 features of the mobile, they just using two mobile features, one for camera, one for video. So that's how we have to understand that this product is fitting well this particular domain. If we go to the west, Mumbai, very technical, solid doctors, they are the lot of KOLs. So they are lost a lot of communicate, a lot of tutors, a lot of teachers in the society. They are the professor lectures, so they have a deep understanding of the technical knowledge. So that's how you have to build the ecosystem of training, by understanding the your team also, plus what type of people they are dealing in their territory. So it's a both, it's a sword of both different edges. So I have to take care of the both things. I'm not only just focusing to improve the person, I'm also focusing ki what type of audience he is dealing in his territory, and based on that audience, what type of training structure he required, particularly in customizable way. So that's how I'm dealing here.
I think it's wonderful, like you're molding your coaching according to the person that you're coaching and, according to the people that he is dealing with. So, do you run any certification courses or how does your coaching work?
So I did a lot of certification. I opted many courses, maybe from Dan Lok. His world was the best copywriter. So that is my favorite one. So I started learning from him in 2019. That was the first mentor I choose by on Google search. So I opted few courses. He's totally amazing person in terms of sales and copywriting. So that was a very fast way at that time. Then COVID happens, and during that COVID, I almost put 1 year in learning different programs and different courses from Gitika Sahgal. That is one of the Indian person. Then Dr. Vivek Bindra is one of the very great person in sales and marketing. Then Mr. Ron Malhotra, he's my another favorite person from Australia. Then Mr. Dev Gadvi. So this is one of another coaches, and I opted in India. So 5 7 courses, 5 7 mentors I choose for one particular specialization. Then I
Mhm.
learned from each and everybody, because in my domain our target audience is very different. Our target audience is doctors only, and they are very analytical, they are very skeptical in their thought process. So that's how I understand ki what type of people I have to choose in my organization, so that they can take care of the doctors in the market. And doctors, they have almost 8 to 10 type of different psychology and different personalities. Then I divided all the personalities. Almost in the 10 or 15 years, I am met more than 10,000 doctors. So after discussing with them, after communicating with them in my own questions way, so that I can figure it out, this is the one personality, this is another personality. So that with the base of the system, I developed my designing programs. I designed my uh, own personal training programs to train the people in terms of sales psychology, sales methodologies, and I put my this complete program name is Healthcare Sales Line. So that is my own program. Major brand name is Healthcare Sales Line, and under this program, I created lot of different customizable programs for different organizations and clients.
That is wonderful. Like, is it online or in person?
So online is only for the branding purpose, but I have very less content in terms of LMS, because my personal customization is different.
Mhm.
I in a 1 hour of session, I only speak for 10 or 15 minutes, and I give them a task to finish in next 30 or 40 minutes. Because if you don't involve your mentees or your students to learn, then it is very difficult to make them good in execution. Because one way communication is only to record the courses, just put on the LMS. Now it's self-paced, do everything. So I don't know whether they are listening or not. Just put the button, start, and start watching the videos or other YouTube. That video is running in the background to just give you the report. Yes, this video has been completed 90%. So that is not the result oriented activities. So a lot of coaches, they are doing the same similar activities, and they are not sure whether their students are getting some value or not. So I involve my students in doing the task, and I'm sitting there idle. No worries, you just finish, I'm sitting here. So they have the now some peer pressure, they have to finish the task. Then they will think, they will get some objection, I will answer, they will get objection, I will answer. That's how they become much better version in those during executions activities. I keep batch small, and I
Mhm.
put good time to at least give the results, so that they can really perform well in their own territory. If they are performing well, company is getting good cash flow. If company is getting good cash flow, we are everybody is getting good incentive. So that's the foundation, I think.
Yeah. So you do coach doctors as well.
Only for three domains. clinical branding, personal branding.
Mm.
Second, how to scale your clinic from one chair to multi-chair to multi-chains.
Mm.
And third, how can you become your personal branding as a KOL speaker so that you can get more money from the different companies by giving the lectures and by sharing your knowledge. So these are the three ecosystem. So no clinical relevancy, only the clinical branding and marketing activities, then your
Mm.
personal branding in terms of KOL, then your business scaling,
Yeah.
staff management.
How does a doctor become a KOL? Like, we have seen so many people speaking, but how do they get to that position?
To become a KOL in a particular domain, you have to be very specific in terms of knowledge and both in academic knowledge, both in clinical knowledge.
Mm.
Suppose any new company they are launching any new product in the market, and they want some group of doctors. They test the product, they do the clinical cases, they document the process, they create the complete report. The report is submitted to the main company in the clinical research team. They accept it. Now they appoint you as a key opinion leader for the particular product or the procedure. Now when the company want any program, they will do the promotions activity. They call the x number of doctors into a hall. You will invited as a guest speaker. They will give you the service fees. Now you become the KOL of that particular company. So during this process we have some checklists and criteria.
Mhm.
What are the business domain, what are the business ethics, what are the business terms and condition you will have to sign with the company, what type of KOLs you are, because there are different level of KOLs,
Mm.
what type of remuneration you will should ask. So these are the few personal branding steps to become a KOL of a company. What are the new company they are looking for Indian market? So
Mm.
before coming to India, they need research, they need the support system. So how to catch those company, how to approach those company to become the KOL of that particular product or services. So these are the hidden things that happens in the market, not mentioned everywhere or anywhere in the Google or some other channels.
Mm. I just feel like, and so the companies approach the doctor, or the doctor should present themselves to the company, like apply it somewhere, like you would apply for a job.
Like if you are already a well established practitioner and QL, then company will approach you. But if you are budding and you are building your own brand, then you have to approach initially. So once getting to two or three projects, then you become more aware in the market. Because if the company don't know you about your services, if they don't know about your skills, academic strength or clinical excellence, then how they will approach you. So here it comes the part of branding and marketing. So branding marketing is not only for the clinic, it's also for your own personal brand.
I think you need to have some clinical research papers as well, for the companies to understand your background and what is your specialty and how is their product going to fit into your life.
Yes, yes. For those things they approach. That's what I'm saying. A company, if they're launching new product, they require the validation.
Yes.
So maybe it is well accepted in Europe, maybe is well accepted in USA, but
Mm.
it is not rightly fitting well in the Indian market. Maybe the price is very high. Maybe it is very technical sensitive. Maybe the outcome is not genetically or matching with the Indian patient's history. So maybe in a patients have some other systemic disease, the outcome is not matching with the standard or global outcome.
Mm.
So that's there are a lot of hidden factors in each and every clinical procedure and every equipment if we are using. So those are mostly happened in implants. Those are mostly happened in dental lasers. Now they will happen mostly in the air prophylaxis. Now they will mostly happen in some grafts, bone grafts they are putting in the surgeries. Maybe they are more happening now in implant navigation system. Further, it will go into the robotic implant surgeries. So these are the trends and these are the upcoming scenarios. So here the company will definitely approach the doctors who are good in their clinical practice. They have good patient flow. Now they give them the product maybe as a testing product to do the research, or maybe you can acquire in a very special price, and now you can become already a very different or one or unique in the complete territory, or first in the nation, first in the state, first in the city. So they have the different type of mindset among all the doctors. So some want to become first in the nation, some want to become first in the territory or first in the state, some want to become first in the city. So they get those things, they promote those things to get more patient for those particular cases, and that's how they build more money also. and that's how they build the case histories.
I think it can also be becoming a KOL can also open up a new revenue stream for the doctors.
Yes,
Yeah, instead of just
definitely.
putting on the clinic. I think we should do a session on just how to become a KOL in your industry with you. It's really fascinating.
Maybe.
So, as you said, you coach dentists from becoming from one location to multi-location. So, what is the criteria they should decide on before deciding on the expansion of their clinic?
I miss again the first line. So repeat the questions again.
Yeah. No, I'm asking like you have said that you coach dentists about the scale of their practice from one location to another. So before starting the second location, what should be the criteria they should decide?
Okay. So if a doctor is expanding his practice from one clinic to another, maybe one city to another city, so every area have a basic research.
Hmm.
Maybe you are very good in one area, or in second area, maybe you are not getting similar type of practice output.
Hmm.
So first we have to understand the geography, that particular geography. So there are three terms. One is total addressable market. We call it TAM.
Hmm.
Suppose you are getting X city, so total population or total area is around, suppose 30-kilometer range, and in 30-kilometer you have a population of around 5 lakh. So this is the total addressable market. So any dentist can take care of this 5 lakh population. Now the second part is how many dentists already working in that community. So that we call it total serviceable market. So serviceable market means ki out of 5 lakh people, maybe only the 2 lakh people are the usual patient, and 3 lakh is doing very good oral hygiene. They are good educated, and the chance of getting some oral issues is very very less in comparison to other. So now only 2 lakh people are the total serviceable market.
Hmm.
So first was total addressable, second is total serviceable. Now among the total serviceable, suppose there are 100 dentists in the city, or maybe there are 50 dentists in the city. So now these 2 lakh people will be divided among these already the current practitioner.
Hmm.
Then you figure out the total addressable, total serviceable, then total touchable market. Ki
Hmm.
among these 2 lakh people, among these 100 dentists, if I am 101 dentist, so total touchable market is for me is maybe 5%, maybe down 10%, or maybe 7%. Now, then in the fourth level, you will find who are the top three or top five doctors in that particular area, because everybody is not getting the equal share of the patient. So these five top practitioner, they are working for the last maybe 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, 7 years. Then what type of infrastructure they have? Do you have something unique proposition when you open your clinic? Do you have any something one, two, or three clinical procedure that may or not that may or may not be available in the market in the current scenario? So that's how you have to do some basic research about the competition. Now the infrastructure, first floor, market, how the patient will reach to you in a easy way. Then what type of public channel is there to reach to the clinic. Then the patient paying capacity about during the territory. What type of most region wise, religion wise population bifurcation is there, any nearby footfall area is there. So there are a lot of criteria and factors. Already we have a booklet, how to open your dream dental clinic,
Okay.
that is written by me but by the name of the company. So
Mhm.
we have to start the clinic from scratch to scale. We have almost 12 topics. So that is written especially for the Gen Z and upcoming dentist.
Okay.
So we also distributed the same thing in different colleges when we conduct some program how to open your first dental clinic. So
Mhm.
that's how I suggest these are the basic thing a doctor should or anybody should check whether they are starting their first clinic or they are expanding in another clinic.
Like one habit that every doctor should develop for
One
growth.
habit a doctor should develop
Yeah, for
is
growth
very
of clinic.
much of growth of a clinic.
Mm.
Focus on the lead leakage.
Lead leakage. Yeah.
Everybody is focused on the more people. Nobody is focused on the leakage. So a lot of things we uh, there are a lot of leakage in the system. Leakage in the means maybe the follow up is not correct, maybe the first inquiry is not handled properly, maybe your receptionist is not talking to the customer first time. So these are the leaking stuff in the cleaning. So we should repair the things first in terms of leakage.
The most overhyped marketing.
I guess random Instagram reels. People start believing everything on they see on the Instagram, they see on the WhatsApp, WhatsApp University, Instagram University. Until unless a well professional doctor is not giving any advice, just don't accept anything randomly.
And the one metric you would never run a business without.
In my belief, conversion rate, or we call it ROI. So for a clinic, I would track two conversion. Well, that is my personal belief. First is inquiry to appointment. So how much inquiry you're getting and how much appointment exactly happening. And consultation to treatment conversion. So these are the two main conversions. These are two main metrics. So how much inquiry you received, maybe through paid campaign or through organic, and how much they converted into the appointment. Now, when they come to the appointment, you will have some consultation with the patient, and how much consultation is converted into treatment acceptance, because acceptance will give you money.
Yes. So AI is a friend or threat to the people on commercial team.
In one aspects, I feel threat. In other aspects, I feel friend, because I've also already given two different session in two different domain.
Okay.
And friends for discipline team, if the people are really using AI ethically in a problem solving mind, then it is really a friend. And threat for the lazy team, because they find some crook way to do the thing fast but in a wrong way. So that is in that scenario, that is threat.
I think the biggest benefit is the consistency we get through AI. Like if you start an automation, then you don't have to worry about it. It will go on. So
But
you
still,
can
automation also required your focus and monitoring.
once you set up something, then it just you just have to maintain it, like check whether it's good or
Because
not.
you never know which link is breaked in between and the full flow is
Yeah.
going any matchy. We never know what type of suggestion AI is giving. Maybe they do some hallucination with the time. So
Yesterday I was reading a case about in Canada, in Air Canada, it seems that the AI invented their own refund policy, and the patients, I mean, the person sued the company and they got the money back because AI hallucinated a new refund policy and the company had to give it. So I think that is necessary. We need to keep checking if it is telling our policies or creating some new hallucinations and all. And it
right.
was a really fascinating case. Yet I think, and the court said that you cannot say that AI did it. You have to take the responsibility of the AI. So I think in the end,
Right.
the judgment and responsibility still stays with the dentist. You cannot trust the AI with that.
Because if AI is implemented at your business, so it's your credibility. Whatever he's saying, it means he's saying on permission of you. So something wrong message given by the AI, so they accepting it is given by the company. So
Yeah.
that's how it become thread. So that's how feeling people they do some crook thing with the help of AI, especially the people who just want easy money or some lazy type of people. So that's become a little threat.
If you want a dentist who is listening to this episode to take one actionable advice, what would it should it be?
For the practice angle, I just simply say don't depend on the lucky month. So build a system and know where the patients are coming from, why they trust you, where they drop, who follows up, and how they come back again to become a referral. So growth should not be like a surprise month. Oh, this month was really awesome. Next month is totally dry. So you should build a system. Don't depend on the luck.
That is true, actually. So, as you are a coach and a marketing head also, how can people connect with you if they want coaching from you as a dentist?
So mostly I believe in this LinkedIn,
Okay.
and they can connect me with the name of Dr. Vijay Viraj very much, or either they will just put on my name on Google. They will get a lot of stuff about me. Maybe they will enter my website, they will enter my LMS, or they will enter some other ventures also. but it's more easy if they want real me, then should connect on LinkedIn.
Link.
So I believe LinkedIn is more credible platform.
You don't promote a lot about your coaching on LinkedIn, like you are
Because I feel
coach.
LinkedIn at least give you the more serious and very filtered type of person to connect with you. So I got good number of people. They look for my services, and I already choose after having one-to-one session. I also test my capability and my skill whether I'm capable enough to solve their problem. If I doesn't fit as per their requirement, I also deny it. It's not only ki, yes, it's a client now make some money. If I'm not able to give you the result, then I eliminate myself as a coach. I'm not the right coach for your particular problem.
So you prefer people should approach you for the coaching instead of you approaching others.
I don't believe because already very much occupied. So it's not like I want to become Ambani today, and I should start doing everything. जो भी है सब accept कर लो. It's not like that. So it's a qualitative approach. So choose as per your capability, as per your time, as per your health. It's not only I'm spending effortless nights, so sleepless night to make good money. Because whatever you save today, you will spend tomorrow on your health again. So it's better to save less and enjoy the life, at least some cool days, some cool time with the family. So I choose very few people because that gives a good communication, that gives a good rapport building, and that gives an excellent result. Because they are also serious to spend the time. I'm also serious to spend my time.
That is true. Like work and life balance is important. We cannot just
Definitely.
do only work. I thank you, Dr. Vijay. I think it was one of the most enlightening episodes regarding the marketing as well, and I hope we also connect and do many more episodes if you have time, obviously.
Definitely, we can plan more sessions. So we will discuss again. And
Yes.
I all the best, Dr. Andalib. You are doing really fantastic job, and I wish great success to you and your podcast also. So
Thank
anytime you feel anything that is relevant to me, please come again, and I will definitely help you in my best capabilities.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Vijay. Thank you. And what I have gathered from this episode is growth is not just about luck. It isn't magic. You should develop a system to have the, as you said, not just lucky months, but lucky years if you are really
Yes,
tying your practice to the growth and vision that you have. Thank you so much.
definitely, definitely, perfectly. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye.